If you're shopping for glasses which are outside the normal sizing, it can be a really frustrating experience. But in today's video, we've got you covered. We're going to be showcasing some of the best large frames, some of the best small frames for men and ladies. So whether you physically need an unusual frame size because of your face shape, or you just want a pair of oversized or undersized glasses that looks cool, we're going to get you some amazing new eyewear. So hi, I'm Robert, Style and Vision Consultant here at the Spectacle Factory. It's my job to pair you with your perfect pair of glasses. And of course, when it comes to glasses, like anything else, size is important. There's nothing worse than a frame that just doesn't fit correctly, that's going to either slip down or weigh heavy on your face and look ridiculous. Whatever size of face you have, there are glasses out there that will fit you perfectly, I guarantee it. And by the end of this video, you'll be convinced as well. First, oversized frames, or large frames, I should say. On most people, these would be oversized. If you have a certain size of face, they will look normal sized. And let's take a look first of all at one of the very coolest frames you can get in large sizing, which is the Ornette by LA Eyeworks. Now, of course, you have to have personality to wear these glasses, just like anyone who wears LA Eyeworks frames. But if you are someone who has a larger than average face and you have a larger than life personality, the Ornette is going to be ideal for you. The coloration on this frame is subtle but superb, a super glossy high definition acetate, and we recently covered LA Eyeworks and all the beautiful craftsmanship that goes into their frames. Now on me, I have I would say slightly smaller than average face, so a lot of glasses do look big on me, and this one, you know, more excessively than normal. If you want a pair of glasses that's kind of as big and bold as you are, the Ornette is the one. That said, you might want to tone it down because it is quite a thick acetate. So that's where the Volontaires by Harlem comes in, because this is in a semi-crystal color. What that means is that despite being virtually the exact same size as the Ornette, it's much softer and more subtle on the face. And that is one piece of advice that I give to a lot of people, but especially those who are going for larger frames. If you go for a really large black frame, it's very overpowering. However, a crystal frame like this is much softer and much easier to wear as a daily pair of glasses. You could also argue it's more fashionable, especially when paired with a lens tint. You have this gorgeous temple inlay within the acetate, which, due to the crystal colorway, really does shine through. And that's typical of Harlem, who make quite simply beautiful glasses by hand in France. You may not have heard of these two brands that I've covered so far, LA Eyeworks and Harlem. That's because they're independent eyewear companies. They're not owned by a conglomerate. Unfortunately, I would say 90+% of glasses out there are made by the same big company, at least by the same 2 or 3 big companies. They're making eyewear for the mass market. What that means is they're making glasses that will fit as many people as possible. So they tend to make frames in very average sizes. But if you're someone who's outside of the norm, you're left with a wall of glasses that none of which are ever going to fit you. And that can be really disheartening. But if you look around, if you actually do a bit of research and find boutiques like ourselves around the world who stock these kind of glasses, you can finally have eyewear that actually fits you properly and feels comfortable to wear and doesn't feel like it's squeezing your head. And that is one of the main reasons why I'm passionate about independent eyewear, because they do think about the end wearers more. They're not making glasses for everyone, they're making glasses for you and me. And there is a difference there. And brands like JFRay, for example, also make super oversized frames. Now, this one from the 1985 collection is pretty bizarre, let's be honest. But if you're a lady who likes big, bold, beautiful glasses, this is about as big, bold, and beautiful as it gets. I think this is an awesome frame. If you've got, again, the personality for it, if you've got the size of face for it, it doesn't necessarily have to look as big on someone as it does on me, because as we said, I've got a smaller than average face. It's gorgeously feminine, especially with the coloration. I mean, I love that turquoise inner lens rim on the acetate. Producing an acetate like this, by the way, is no easy feat. This is a true piece of artistry. This model, called the Madison, is probably the best oversized ladies acetate frame that I can think of at the moment. That said, if you want to tone it down a little bit, you can go slightly more kind of classic with the Chloe 0189 in this burnt Havana color, as they call it. This is from their Reace collection, so that means it's actually made from offcuts of acetate that are then recycled, and they produce numbered limited editions from those colors. So this one, for example, is number 186 of 300 pieces in the world, which makes them extra special. And Chloe are one of the few brands that actually do oversized frames really, really well. In fact, that's what they've been known for from the start. Generally, as a rule, the bigger you go with glasses, the more square and more angular you want them to be. And generally, as a rule, the smaller with glasses you go, the more rounded you want them to be. And of course, there are exceptions to that, but you'll notice that the larger frames do tend to be more geometric. The smaller frames tend to be more rounded. That's for a reason. It's just the way that proportions work with different shapes. Now, it doesn't have to even be acetate frames if you need a larger than normal pair of glasses. For example, the Oscar by Recuviai is an example of a massive titanium frame. Now, Recuviai are designed in Iceland, they're made from Japanese titanium, and they're produced in Italy. They are, in my opinion, the most durable glasses in the world and the most comfortable glasses in the world. And one thing I love about the Recuviai range is they cater for smaller and larger faces. It's a huge collection with many different shapes, sizes, and colors, and they cover both extremes. So the Oscar, I mean, this is just simply enormous. I would like to meet the guy whose head is too big for this frame. And it's a very easy frame style to wear as well. It's quite simplistic, it's understated, it's typically Scandinavian, with the minimalist architecture of the one-piece titanium frame. It's cool and it's interesting, but it's not going to break any boundaries. It's just a great frame for people with large faces who value comfort and durability above all else. That doesn't mean you can't be stylish with an oversized metal frame either. This pair by Robert Laroche, which is called the Mabel, is very similar in proportion and shape to the Chloe, but done as a metal piece. That makes it, I think, a little bit more summery, a little bit lighter, like literally lighter because it's made from titanium, but lighter in appearance as well. This kind of style paired with a lens tint is one of the best frame styles that you can choose. Full stop. The Mabel isn't enormous, but for most ladies it would wear oversized, and like I said, for larger ladies, it'll kind of wear normally. Robert Laroche is, I've been thinking about this, probably the most underrated eyewear brand in the world right now. They make glasses that are as good quality as pretty much anybody else, and yet nobody seems to have really cottoned onto it. The titanium frames are handmade in Japan. They look cool, they feel great to wear, definitely one of the best larger ladies frames that I've come across. And of course there are more options than this, but these are some of the very nicest that I personally have come across. I think each pair is super cool, very high quality, and it's a pair that you'll actually enjoy wearing. But if you have a smaller face shape, we want you to feel that way as well. And here are a selection of some of the best small frames for men and ladies. We're going to start with a look that is absolutely quintessential. It's a style that you quite simply cannot go wrong with. I can wear this undersized. A smaller person could wear it kind of as a normal frame. Even if you were like super small, you just wear it as a kind of oversized round. This is the Petit Palais by Alem. So they're not only covering larger faces like with the Volontaire. This one's finished in yellow gold, but there are other colorways that goes for every frame that we've covered in this video. And they have a magic trick too, because the Petit Palais comes with its own sun clip in this lovely blue leather pouch. As we unfasten it, we reveal a folded sun clip, which is a cool concept. I mean, it means that that is very easy to take with you pretty much anywhere. It's a really well-designed mechanism and attaches on with some hooks that go around the lens. And then you have a great pair of sunglasses as well. I just think this is an absolute go-to frame if you want a petite pair of glasses. And similarly, you can get that kind of look in an acetate as well. The Wallace by Walter & Herbert is one of my absolute essential round frames. Again, this can be worn by men or ladies, and again, it's an ideal size for smaller faces. And it is just a fact that smaller frames suit being rounded like this. I think if you have petite features and you're scared of going round, I would really encourage you not to be. It's a look that will work for, well, pretty much every smaller face that I've encountered in my career. Because if you do have narrower features, think about the proportions of your face. If you go for a rectangular frame, it's going to tend to come past the face. That's going to accentuate how small you are. When you choose a rounder frame like this, where the proportions are almost as deep as they are wide, that will work better if you have a petite face, because it is simply in better proportion with your features. The Wallace is made here in England. That's something that I'm very proud of as well. It's nice to see great British eyewear manufacturing, and another super underrated eyewear brand that's good quality, well priced. But the other shape I would say that does tend to suit smaller ladies in particular is the cat's eye, a classic frame style where we have this slight uplift and accentuation towards the end of the frames. A great example of that is the Dandridge by Barton Pereira, which has these just sumptuous gold temples. I love how they've met the titanium with the acetate. It's almost seamless. You can just about feel it if you run your finger over it. But to look at it, it looks so well integrated. And green and gold, perfect frame color combination. This is how it wears on the face. Of course, this is a very feminine style. It's not going to suit me, but you get an idea of kind of the proportions of it. This is on the larger side for a petite lady, but that's the thing. You know, this is going to look on a petite face almost like that would look on a larger face, and that's where it's all about getting the right sizing. Now, one massive, huge misconception about frame sizing is that it's to do with the numbers that are on the inside of the frame. That is a component, but you really cannot be led by that. And I made a whole video about the subject, actually. I think it's one of the biggest lies in the eyewear industry. And last but not least, we have, from Recuviai again, the Sarah. Very similar to the Dandridge, but smaller, thinner, more subtle, and lifted up by the bright purple coloration. Again, this does come in other colors if purple's not your thing, but I think if you're gonna go for glasses that are so small and so understated as they would be otherwise, a brighter color is actually a way to make your glasses that bit more interesting and exciting, because obviously you can't wear a large pair of glasses. You might not feel like you can wear a bold pair of glasses, but you probably can get away with a bit of color. And that's one thing that I encourage clients to try as well, if you've not had it before. There's nothing wrong with having a color like this, if it is a color that suits you, of course, and your skin tone. What you don't want to do is go for something that's a basic shape, basic material, and a basic color, because then you just end up with a boring pair of glasses. And it's another good example of Recuviai because they do these really vibrant colors extremely well. Now, there is one last point I want to make before we finish this video, and it's a really important one actually. If you think that you like none of these glasses, and if you think that you just cannot find a pair of glasses anywhere ever that fits you properly, the solution is a rimless frame. Because with a rimless frame, we're not constrained by something that's already made. With a rimless frame, we can customize the size and shape of that lens to our heart's content. We can make it as big as you want. We can make it as small as you want. We can make the shape whatever you want. That is a great way to get a pair of bespoke glasses. This is a good example of a rimless frame. This is from Gast Eyewear from Milan, but these are made in China, which helps keep the cost down. These cost roughly around $200 or so, which for rimless glasses is very, very affordable, especially for rimless glasses that look as good as these. The quality to price ratio is insane on Gast. And that's why I featured them, because I don't want anyone to ever feel like they can't get glasses that they love to wear. This is affordable, it looks fantastic, and it can be made in any size and shape you want. What more could you ask for? And again, it does come in other colors. This I chose specifically because I think it's the best color, which is rose gold with crystal temples. But you have a straight black, you have tortoiseshell, and you have versions as well where it's gold all the way down the side. Again, I have a video about the Gast Rimless series, and you can hear me rave about those some more if you want to watch that. But I think that just about covers it. Hopefully this did give you some ideas and some inspiration for your next glasses. And hopefully it gave you some hope that there is eyewear out there that you're going to love to wear, that's going to fit you properly, and is going to be comfortable. But if you have any questions about anything that we covered in this video, please leave those in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a like. And if you know someone who has a larger face, a more petite face, share this video with them. It might really help them out. And finally, for more of the best eyewear content on the internet, make sure you're subscribed. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks guys, bye bye.